I'm tracing my I'm counting my steps. So, you know, I've taken 101 steps. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, internet surfers, or me, whoever's watching this, depending on what time you're watching it. This is Mark, Accidental Geek. We're going to update the Mark's art collection with this video here, and also if you just kind of do a quick peek over here, we are also at the same time rotating the art pieces that are on display here in the administration building with Baker Art Center. Baker Art Center has graciously loaned us some of their permanent collection pieces, and we're also going to be doing a video on that to talk about the art pieces that Baker has loaned us to have displayed in the administration building. I'm rambling. Anyway, let's take a look at the stuff that I have downstairs in Mark's art collection. And we've grown a little bit, and we've gotten to the point where we've had to actually add a piece in the stairway here, which I'm not sure if I've shown this one before or not. I don't think we covered this one yet in the collection, but this is a painting that I did in the late part of 2013. This was titled Black and Red. I'm thinking about retitling it Ned, because a lot of people have told me it looks like a horse, so Ned, horse of course, you know, that would be a good name for it. I don't know, I'm just rambling. So anyway, see if you can get up close and get some of the texture. I guess I have talked about this in one of my videos. I think I did a video when I first got the Coolpix. I kind of showed you this a little bit. But this is our official update of the Mark's art collection, and we've just moved this piece up to the top of the stairway here for the collection, because we've got some new pieces that I want to show. And so come on down and let's take a look. Let's go around this way and kind of make this organized here a little bit. And of course, again, we've shown this piece before. This is just a black and white photograph of fence post that I did. This is actually a proof that I shot to make sure it was okay, and I did a larger print for my wife. And just real quick, well, I want to talk about this real quick because I had a little conversation with Adrian yesterday about this photograph here, and Adrian's going to be entering this into the 2014 National Juried Show here at Baker Arts this year. So hopefully that gets accepted into the show. It's a great black and white of a tree bark, or a tree trunk or whatever, without the bark actually. I haven't shown you these pieces before. These are old photographs, a couple old photographs that I took back in the film days when I was in San Diego. And this one is of the Jessup's Clock. There's an open air mall in downtown San Diego. This was captured back in, that would have been 1990 or thereabouts. So just wanted to kind of talk briefly about that, because I kind of tend to forget about them because they're, I don't know, they're getting old. Anyway, this is just a collection of news clippings from when Stan Hurd came and had the reception when he put the mural upstairs. And I guess we should have captured that. Maybe we can get it later. And then this is a photograph, again, another photograph from back in 1990 when I was in San Diego. This is of the Hotel del Coronado. I was stationed in Coronado, and so this hotel is along the beach, Coronado Beach, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful area. That beach is just there. It's when you're in San Diego, most of the people are at Mission Beach. Coronado Beach is just clean, no people. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The sunsets, no trash. It's just a beautiful area. But anyway, the Hotel del is that. Okay, we've talked about Bob and Betty. That's one of the first paintings I did when I started the class with Susan. And speaking of Susan, Susan has allowed us to display one of her paintings as part of Mark's collection. This is not owned by me. This is still Susan's painting, but she's allowed us to let us display it as part of Mark's art collection for a while. And I really like this painting. This painting is titled Grasshopper, and this was a painting that Susan had entered into a national juried show here at Baker Arts, and she actually won in that category with this painting. And it's a beautiful painting. I love it. She really captures that Kansas landscape aesthetic with the way she paints and kind of the subject matter that she uses when she paints. So I love that. I love the train. This is really kind of a really neat add to the design. So, okay, on to Citizens of the World. And I've talked about this in a previous video that I've done, but we haven't talked about it here for the update of Mark's art collection. This is a painting that I was inspired by the Cobra artists. As I studied the Cobra artists, one of the things that they talked about was recreating that childlike aesthetic when you are creating your work. You try to kind of become a child again. And when I was doing this, when I was creating this design, I was trying to put myself in that position of, just being a kid and just, creating that childlike primitive style when you create it. And I think it worked out pretty well. I like the idea of mixing the thick impasto paint and also the drippy paint as well. And sometimes those two worlds kind of collide together in some of the different aspects of the painting, and it creates a nice, I think it creates a nice effect sometimes when it drips down in here. That's kind of cool. And then you can kind of see some of the layers beneath. I tried to kind of leave that open there so you could see some of those drips underneath the clouds there. So there's Citizens of the World. I am currently working on a second Citizens of the World. It's not finished yet. It's almost finished, but this will be the second in the series of Citizens of the World. Typically what I do is I'll get my hands on a concept and I'll work that. And by the time I get to the end of the second one, I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready to move on, start a new concept. So we'll have two of those. But for now, that's just Citizens of the World. Again, this is Dora My Dora, and this was kind of my interpretation of Pablo Picasso's portrait of Dora Maar. So I tried to do a reinterpretation of a Dora Maar there, and I kind of like how that one worked out. I'm not going to change that one. There's a lot of paintings that I look at and I think, I'm not sure. Maybe I need to add to that, or I need to change it or something. But that one is going to stay the same. Okay, moving on. This one is titled Sundance. And this one, I had the idea for this in my head for several months. And I wanted to actually put this on a bigger canvas. But when I got into the studio and I got to looking around at the stretcher boards that were available and the time that I had, time constraints that I had available to me. I just did not have the time or the equipment to get it on a bigger canvas. So I thought, okay, I just need to get this out of my head. So I'll just stretch a smaller canvas and get it done. So, and this is kind of the, this is as I was first starting to really get a handle on how to use a wax medium to make a thicker texture. I don't know if you can see the texture from there. Maybe, can you zoom in? Is the light good?
Pretty good.
And then over here, we have, this is one of my first semester's paintings with Susan's class. It was called The Protagonist, and I have rebuilt this. I didn't change the design, but I did change some colors, and I did thicken it up with the, again, with the wax medium. So there's The Protagonist. And over here, this is one from last semester. I'm not sure if I'm completely happy with this one or not, but this one's called Score. And this one I didn't use a wax medium with. I used a walnut oil to kind of, just to experiment, because I wasn't really sure what the walnut oil would do as far as, you know, whether it would create a shiny surface or a dull surface or whatever. This is a photograph again. We've talked about this. This is Chris Linenbroker's photograph that he has loaned to us. This is not my photograph. At some point I might give him some money and see if he'll let me keep it. And over here is the infamous Velvet Elvis that has been graciously loaned to us from Sillin Galleries. We've talked about the Velvet Elvis before, and speaking of Greg Sillin, we've added a couple Greg Sillin pieces, and here is Greg right here. And Greg just can't wait to talk to you about these new art pieces. Right, Greg?
Right. I'm excited.
We haven't talked about these over here. Let's talk about these over here first. We've got Mitt Romney at the top. And then we've got, of course, you got to have Ronald Reagan.
Twice.
Oh, yeah, you got Ronald Reagan twice. He's pointing at the pinko commie that sits over there in his office. And then Greg has been educated at the Rush Limbaugh Institute of Conservative Studies, and there is his certificate there.
We're at GW.
Now tell us about this piece here, Greg.
That is the Simpsons version of Nighthawks by Edward Hopper.
I love the crack in Homer's ass there.
Well, we all have one.
Yeah.
And we've got Edna Crabapple and
Now
the police chief.
this is just a reproduction. And who's the artist? Do you know?
No.
You don't. He doesn't know who the
Well,
artist
Edward Hopper's the original artist, but I don't know who.
is. Edward Hopper's the original artist, but
I don't know who did the.
he's been hacked by somebody replacing the Simpsons characters. And then we've got some reproductions of the Waterloo and Pinched with Four Aces. Who is the artist here?
Cassius Coolidge.
Cassius Coolidge. And then there is a great photograph of Greg right here playing cards.
That's the World Series of Poker.
World Series of Poker. And look at Greg. He is really focused, man.
Concentrating.
He's concentrating. So anyway, we just wanted to update you on that because those are new pieces. Now, technically this is not part of Mark's art collection. This is Greg's world, but we've got to show you Greg's world because these are great pieces, and so it lives right beside the collection. So okay, we're back, and now we're in the long hallway where we have a lot of pieces. And again, we've talked about this one before, so we won't spend too much time on this, but this is a painting that Susan Copas did when she was a student at KU, and she has graciously given this painting to me just because I saw it and I loved it, and I asked her if I could buy it. So, but I think it's a beautiful painting. Moving along. Again, this time I'll try to pronounce his name correctly. Julian Alcántar. Julian, if I mispronounce your name, you can kill me later. But anyway, this is anyone who says that Facebook is a waste of time has never met Julian on Facebook. That's how I met him and got to talking to him, and we're now part of a group on Facebook, a group of artists that get together and share their art. It's called Abstract Evolution. Check it out if you get a chance, if you're on Facebook. And Julian created that group, and there are artists literally from all over the world. I've met a lot of great artists on that group. Anyway, I asked him, and I purchased one of his pieces. These are a couple drawings from artist Sally Slayton, who just happens to be my mother. I think they're great. I love these drawings. She said that she participated in a workshop in New Mexico. I don't remember the artist that she said that was running the workshop, but there are 4 of them, and we'll show you 2 more when we come around the other side. But anyway, these are 4 drawings that my mother created as part of a workshop that she did in New Mexico, and I love them. So I asked her if she would allow me to add these to the collection. Now, again, I probably don't own these, but she knows where I live if she wants them back. But I'll probably be able to hold on to these for a while. Moving along, I have finally framed and hung this great piece of art by Nico Milodinovic. And Nico, I hope I pronounced your name right. And again, Nico is an artist that I found on Facebook, I believe in Abstract Evolution, the group. Nico is a California-based artist, and he works primarily in acrylic. And this is a piece of acrylic on paper, and that was the reason why I kind of had a hard time getting it on the wall, because I needed to get it framed. Whereas, with a canvas, you just stick a string on it and you put it on the wall, But with Nico's work, I had to get it over to a frame shop and get a frame for it. And so I finally did that, and I love this piece. I don't remember the name, though. Maybe I'll update in the description or something below what the name of this and any history on that. But anyway, thank you, Nico. So that's a new piece. And again, this is a digital art piece that I had in the Juried Art Show here at Baker Arts in Liberal a couple years ago. Don't remember. Maybe I'll put the details in the description on that too. We've talked about this one. And this is Love of Fear. I always have to think about what because these 2 names are opposite each other. These are kind of sibling paintings. This one is titled Love of Fear, and I've gotten some pretty good comments on this one, that people kind of like this one. Franz Klein is an artist that I admire, and the black and white pieces that he did kind of inspired me on that one a little bit. And And then this one was kind of a similar take on that, only I used more colors. And I titled this one Fear of Love. Make sure that I got that right. Love of fear, fear of love. Moving along, this one is titled Intent. And I'm thinking about, I've got a blank canvas at home. I need to start. I've got a new concept in mind. What I want to do is I want to use these characters, and I want to do an interpretation of American Gothic. And if you remember the classic iconic painting entitled American Gothic, think about that. Think about these two characters. Now, not these two, with the same design, but I'm kind of thinking of these. I'll be thinking of these when I create this new interpretation of American Gothic, when I create the new painting. This one, again, we've covered this one. This one's titled, what is this one titled? I can't remember. I don't remember. This one is, I don't remember this one either. I'm blocking. This one is Feeding Frenzy. We've covered these before. I cannot think of the name of that one. Okay, anyway. We've covered those. This is a new one. This was late last semester. And this one's titled Harvest. And it's kind of a non-objective, abstract collection of marks on the canvas. And I think it, and again, I'm using wax. And, the idea is I want to show the brush strokes, and the texture of the brush strokes. And that kind of helps to kind of add to the design a little bit. But you can probably, look at this and create your own scene with this. I guess I used the title Harvest because I was using colors that are kind of earthy tones. And so you might think of harvest when you look at those colors, but the design, I mean, you can create whatever you want. This whole thing about don't title a painting because then it leads the viewer to create that in their mind when they're looking at it. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. I like assigning titles to it. I just like, that idea of associating words and visual together, and you guys can, viewers can create your own, if you want. But it's just me, this is just me exercising my need to express myself visually, and using words just kind of adds to the fun. We've covered this one before, but this one and one more I'll show you here in just a minute, I have entered into this year's juried art show. So we'll see, this is titled Forest for the Trees. This was a image of downtown Denver. When we were in Denver visiting, at the time my daughter was living there and we were visiting my daughter. And while mom and daughter were out shopping, I went on a walkabout in downtown Denver and captured some images. And that's the result of one of those images. We've covered this one titled Turbans and Fog, and I've sold this photograph several times now, just recently, to someone who used to be the appraiser here, and she came down and was visiting me, and I was showing her around, and apparently she has a relative who works in the turban industry, and so she bought this photograph as a Christmas present for them. So I was kind of happy about that. We've covered this one before. This one is Playful Poodle, and that's my basically my homage to the the song that I have stuck in my mind from when I was a child and I was taking piano lessons, and the one song and the one recital that I played, Playful Poodle, I still remember how to play it. If you put a piano in front of me right now, I could play it for you. But anyway, I don't know. I was having a hard time coming up with a title for this, and he could be a poodle, maybe, I don't know, a poodle of your own creation, and, you know, let your imagination go. I don't know if we covered this one or not in the last video, but this is, I guess I could call it a self-portrait. The title of this is Zag, and I call him my alter ego. And this was one of the first semesters that I took with Susan. I created this painting. And Dancing in the Moonlight is this one. And I'm thinking about, I like the design of this one, but I'm thinking about maybe taking a new stab at this one. Not to change the design, but maybe to change the colors a little bit and to build it up with some wax. And this one is titled Happy. And this was just a small canvas that I was working on at the house. And started out very non-objective. And some slight hints of representation kind of creep in. You know, you see a smile there, and you see a kind of a hint of a face there. And but I really love this. Just the way it just kind of came together, just accidentally. And here are two more drawings from my mom in the same workshop in New Mexico, Sally Slayton. Nice drawings that she did, and she has graciously allowed us to display them as part of Mark's art collection. And I believe this is the last piece here that we'll talk about. Again, we've covered this before, but this is Event Horizon, and Event Horizon is the second piece that I have entered into this year's show. Well, I've submitted. I have not gotten accepted into the show yet. They've extended the deadline. So we don't know if the juror is going to think this is good enough for display in the show. So we have yet to see. But hopefully, that would be nice. If we got this into the show, this will be the first painting that I've had accepted into a juried show. And so I'm kind of looking forward to hearing from him. Okay, well, this is getting long, so I better let you go. This is a great update to the show. As you can see from, comparing the first video to this one, this collection is growing. And so every time we grow and update, I will do an update video to show you what I got. So thanks for viewing. See y'all later.